Well, hello and welcome. This is Jennifer McGuire. Thanks for stopping by. Today I am going to do several cards and tags using some real brush color pens. So I'm going to talk more about those. I haven't used them in a while and I've been getting questions. And also I'm going to share some fun gift card pocket card designs. These are perfect for the holiday season. So I'll share that towards the end of the video. Got a bunch of examples for you, so let's get started with the coloring. Now the coloring that I'm doing today is with the Arteza Real Color Brush Pens. Now these pens come in either a pack of 24 or 48, and I don't think you can buy them individually. The price point on these is very low. I've been very impressed with them so far, and so I wanted to share them with you today. Now the package comes with the colors in trays, so you can keep them stored in here this way, which is very easy to do. Or you can switch it up and I'll show you how I store mine in a moment. Now these pens contain a water-based ink and they are so much fun for watercolor. I like them because I can kind of control the watercolor a bit more, and I can use them with or without water. This has a real brush tip, not a felt pointed tip, but a real brush tip. The more pressure you push down, the more color comes out and the wider your coloring gets. Now here's a look at the brush pen. I will say these do not come with a color name or number on the side, so doing a color chart is kind of tough, but I'll show you what I do instead. Now here you can see how you can get fine tip or wider tip. It is brush, so you'll get a brush effect. I'm working on Bristol cardstock, which I find is great for coloring because you can move color around and blend, and I'll talk about that in a moment. Now this does compare to the Zig Clean Color Real Brush Pen, which I also really like. This has a brush tip also, a little bit smaller brush tip, and the pen is shorter. The Zig Clean Color comes in different pack sizes and are available individually. And there's a color name on the side, so that is a difference between the two. However, how they go down on paper and how they work is very similar, so it just depends on what your needs are. Now, I have done many videos on the Zig Clean Color Real Brush Pens. I will link to them here because the techniques with those work with these Arteza pens also. Let's quickly go over some of the things you can do with these pens. I am again working on Bristol cardstock. You could also use watercolor paper. Here I've put down some Arteza color, and I'm using an Arteza water brush pen to kind of brush that color out, and you can see the beautiful watercolor effect you can get. You can also use a brush and water. Now below here I'm using a Zig Clean Color Real Brush Pen, and you can see the results are very similar. So if you have the Zig, I think you're good with those. If you're looking to invest in real brush pens, you could consider either of these options. Now another thing you can do with these is easily blend two colors. Up top here I'm using a red and a yellow Arteza pen, and you can see how you can blend them. It doesn't matter if one color touches the tip of another. This is a brush tip, so you can kind of brush the color off. And look at how even without water, you can blend two colors together. Again, you want to use Bristol cardstock or watercolor paper for these. I'm sure there's some other cardstocks that work, but I find these work best. And here on the bottom, I'm doing the same with the Zig Clean Color Real Brush Pen. I honestly cannot find a performance difference between these two. Now these pens are not refillable. I'm not sure how long they'll last. My Zig pens are still working great. Not sure about the Arteza because I just got them, but I'm pleased with the results so far. Now another fun thing you can do is use a shimmer pen to do your blending. This is the Tonic Aqua Shimmer pen. I've recently fallen in love with this one. You can also use the Wink of Stella shimmer pen or the Spectrum Noir shimmer pen. I really like this Tonic one lately, and see how you can use that instead of water to blend out your color and you end up with a beautiful shimmer. And again, this works with both the Arteza and the Zig Clean Color Real Brush Pen. So in summary, I really love both of these products. The Zig Clean Color Real Brush Pen is available in many multi-pack sizes, all the way up to 80, and you can buy them individually, and they have the color names on the side. However, the Arteza is cheaper, but only available in 24 and 48 packs, and it doesn't have the name on the side. So just different things to consider, but they're both great products. Okay, now I wanted to just talk to you a bit about storage. I've heard different versions of the best way to store these, but I decided to store mine on their side, and I haven't had any problems. I have changed up how I store them, and now I keep a swatch of the color taped to the side of my marker. So I die cut a circle from some Bristol cardstock, and I color some of the color onto it. I then use a clear sticker, a big clear round sticker, and I put 2 of those over it so it stays stuck to the side of my marker. That way, when I'm sorting through the markers, I can quickly see what color that marker produces. I keep my markers in this acrylic 5-drawer unit. I will link to a couple different drawers like this, and I've loved this because I can just grab a drawer of a color family, take it to my desk, and pick whatever color I need. Now, I haven't finished putting the swatch on the side of all of my markers yet, so you see some of them aren't done. But I find that using the circle swatch and then putting 2 circle stickers over it has worked well. You could also use clear packing tape if you wanted to. Now, these drawers also work great for colored pencils and other things, but I find that these real color brush pens fit in here perfectly. And by the way, in this set of drawers, I have the entire 80 pack of the Zig Clean Color Real Brush pens. Now, I haven't swatched my Arteza pens yet, but I will do that, and I'm going to store them in another one of these units, but you have to turn them to their sides so that they fit, since these pens are longer. And again, I will put a swatch on these so I can quickly grab the color I need. Now, as I mentioned, I like to use a Bristol smooth cardstock for these pens because the color moves nicely. However, the Bristol cardstocks I've used in the past aren't bright white, and I really like bright white cardstock. This is a Strathmore Bristol Smooth. It works great with these pens, but when I hold some bright white cardstock up to it, you see that the Bristol Smooth has a yellow tone to it. It's like a creamy color, not bright white. So I asked Renee over at Simon Says Stamp to do a search for a bright white Bristol smooth cardstock, and she found one, and I'm so excited. You can see they perform just the same, but what I use now is this, I have no idea how to pronounce it. You can see the name of it up there, but this Bristol smooth cardstock is bright white, and I'm really happy with it and how it performs. Now, it comes in 2 different sizes. You can see the paper comes out very easily. There's also a perforated little area. If you get the smaller set, you can cut 2 4¼ by 5½ inch pieces out of it, or you can get the 9 by 12 pad, and the price is very good. And you can see it's much brighter white, and it works great with these pens. So that is the cardstock I'll be using today for my coloring and in future videos. Okay, so let's get into the coloring. I first wanted to show you the stamp sets that I used for today's video. These are all from Pink & Main, and they're so unique and so much fun. First up, we have the Pink & Main Nice List stamp set. That little Santa is so cute. Also has members of his family there. And I did want to mention the nice thing about Pink & Main dies is that they come pink and they come unattached, so you don't have to cut them apart. I'm also using the adorable Pink & Main Warm Hugs stamp set. You can see how cute these little penguins are stamped and colored, and the coordinating dies. And here we have the Pink & Main Christmas Mugs stamp set. These are beautiful, really unique and fun to color images. And last but not least, I have the Pink & Main Winter Portraits. These are also fun to color and just so different than anything else I've used, so I really enjoyed using them. Okay, so let's do our stamping. Again, I'm using that new Bristol Smooth cardstock. I have it in my MISTI here. I'm just using the MISTI so I can stamp a bunch at once. And I have stamped these with VersaFine black ink. That's a fast drying pigment ink, so I'm adding some clear embossing powder to it to give it a nice shine. I like to clear heat emboss my images that I color with like a watercolor because it helps me stay in the lines. So I'm using the Arteza Real Brush pens here, and I'm just adding like a touch of color into the corners of the area I want to color. And then I'm using the Arteza water brush, this is just water, to blend the color out. Now you could use any water brush for this, or you could use just a water and a brush, or you could use a shimmer pen. So the options are up to you. So here you can see how beautiful the red is. Another thing I like about these real brush pens is you can do a first layer, and if you decide you want to put more color down, you can go right on top of it. It doesn't matter if you get water on the brush tip of your real brush pens because it's a brush tip. You can kind of brush that off. Or if you accidentally pick up a color of another pen, you can brush that off too. That allows you to do even more techniques. But here I'm not blending between two colors. I'm really just adding some shading here and there and some highlights here and there. Now again, you can go back and add more if you want to, so if you want it darker in some areas, that's not a problem. And I find if I put down too much color somewhere, I can just tap it with a dry cloth and that picks up some of the color to remove it. You can see I'm able to get into tiny areas with the fine point of this brush, no problem at all. And here you can see me going back and adding a little bit more color here and there. I also used my Tonic Aqua Shimmer pen to add a little bit of shimmer to the whipped cream on my hot chocolate. Now I did coloring like this on all of the images, and Lila did some too. Since I had my stamps in my MISTI, I stamped some for her, and she really likes these real brush pens, and she has, of course, kind of snatched them and made them her own. So you can see they are very easy to use and a lot of fun. So, okay, now that we have all of our coloring done, let's go ahead and create some cards. And I wanted to show you how you can even include a gift card in the front of your card. I'm going to show you a few ways to do that. Let's start with this example here first. You can see that the Starbucks gift card is tucked into the die cut background. Now to create that die cut background, I use this Pink and Main Layered Stripes die set. So these are 3 large dies that are used to create a background. You can use them separately or together. Now you can do red and white and make it look kind of like a candy cane, or you can use other colors and use it all year round. So I'm putting adhesive on the back of this, but I'm being careful to leave adhesive off the kind of bottom left diagonal. You'll see here, there's no adhesive behind that. And that's so I can tuck my gift card into it. And then I'll go ahead and apply adhesive to the back of the other 2 layers and put them on top. Now these dies cut to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, so they cover the front of my entire note card. So here I'm going ahead and adding the top layer. I put some leftover release paper down underneath it so I could put adhesive on it and not get adhesive all over my work surface. So check out how beautiful that looks white on white. I just love it. And because I didn't put adhesive behind some of the stripes, I can tuck my little gift card in there. Here I have a movie gift card because I had to go to Starbucks and buy some. So I'll switch that out with this Starbucks gift card later. Okay, so now we can add our cute little image to it. I wanted to have a little strip that it sits on with a sentiment, and this is from the Pretty Pink Posh Holiday Greetings stamp set. I thought the warm winter greetings was perfect for this. So I white heat embossed it onto that little blue strip there. I also used the coordinating dies to cut out my little Christmas mug over there so I can quickly add it to my card. So I've put some foam tape behind the Christmas mug, added it to that strip, and now I'm putting a tiny piece of foam tape on the ends of my teal cardstock strip so that I don't glue my gift card down. I still have enough room for my gift card to slide in and out of there. So this is a perfect way to add a gift card to your card, and I like that you can still see it so the person knows it's there. And the Christmas mugs works perfect with the Starbucks gift card. Here's a closer look at that watercolor look that I got. Using those brush pens really helps me kind of control that watercolor look and stay in those tiny little lines. Okay, let's do another example here. Now when I did that die cut background on the last card, I had a bunch of negative pieces left over, all those diagonal strips that you see to the left there. I decided to put those to use. So here I have my die cut piece that I can just temporarily tape onto the front of this note card. Then I can take it off and use it on another card. I'm just using as a guide to adhere these diagonal strips. So I'm popping them in place kind of like a puzzle. And once I have all those diagonal strips glued in, I can then remove that die cut outline and use that on my next card. So I end up with another version of a fun layered background. Now for this card, I'm going to hold my gift card on the front a little bit differently. This is another fun option. I have a stamped panel here that I flipped over, holding my gift card centered on the back of it, and I'm putting a piece of foam tape right up against the top and the bottom of the gift card. The closer you get, the better, because it holds the gift card there better. Now I can remove the release paper and put this on the front of my card, and I have a little place there where I can tuck my gift card when I give it to the recipient. Now on this stamped panel, I have another of the Christmas mugs that I colored with my Arteza pens, and I die cut it and use that same pretty pink Posh greeting right underneath it. And there is another gift card design. I wanted to mention in the inside of these cards, I did use the Pink and Main Christmas Verses stamp set. People often ask what I do on the inside of cards. I really like when I can find stamp sets like this with longer verses that you can stamp on the inside. Now before we go, I wanted to show you some more examples that I made. Now this one holds a gift card quite like the last one did, but this time I used a large die cut circle with a little piece of foam tape on the top and the bottom. And for the background, you can see I alternated between a silver cardstock and white cardstock, and I just love the look of that. Again, I used the Christmas mug stamp set. I can't get enough of that stamp set. And I used a small little sentiment from this pretty pink Posh Winter Wonderland. On the bottom there, you can see it says hugs and lots of love. And I've been using that one quite a bit lately. Now remember that cutie pie Santa stamp that I showed you earlier in the video? I used him on this card, and I can't get over how cute he is. Well, on the top of his hat, I put some strong collage medium adhesive, and I'm putting in these tiny little honeybee stamps snowballs. They're like little styrofoam balls that are fun to use as snow or for the top of Santa's hat. I colored him with those Arteza pens also, and I used the layered background dies with silver and white cardstock. I think this card is my favorite of the bunch, but I didn't leave room to add a gift card, so I might have to do a few more of these. That Christmas cheer sentiment is also from the pretty pink Posh Holiday Greetings stamp set. I really like this stamp set because there are a lot of different holiday messages or winter messages that you can use on a variety of cards. I wanted to show you how these background dies look when you use red and white, so it looks kind of like a candy stripe. I think it's so much fun, and it adds enough interest that you can keep the rest of your card very simple. Here I used the Pink and Main Warm Hugs stamp set to create those cute little penguins, and I added black Nuvo drops to the eyes to give them dimension. Now my last examples use this great die set from Studio Katia called the Dotted Shaker Tag Set. Now this can be used to create some fun shaker tags, but I just used the big die to create a tag today. And I like that it gives like a dotted, like pierced dots around the edge of the tag. And I also like that the bottom is rounded. So I used the Pink and Main Winter Portrait stamp set that I showed you earlier. And I colored them with my Arteza Real Brush pens and die cut them with the coordinating dies. I also white heat embossed some sentiments from Pretty Pink Posh underneath. I think this bear is so cute, especially with the little black Nuvo drops for the eyes, so that they stand out a bit. Now this next tag actually has a silver bow on it. I'm really having fun with the Pink and Main bow dies. They actually come in small, medium, and large, and this is the small bow. All you have to do is die cut it from some silver glitter cardstock, and you can easily assemble it. And I showed that in a video recently, and I'll link to that here. And my final card actually has that Cutie Warm Hugs penguin, and I used the honeybee snowballs for his little earmuffs. I think that's so cute, and added them to one of those die cut tags. I really like that rainbow scarf because it adds a pop of color to it. So there you have a look at the different types of real brush pens out there. I like both of them very much. Also some ideas for adding a gift card to your handmade cards. If you're interested in these supplies, I link to multiple sources in my YouTube description below. And over on my blog, I have photos of all of these and much more information. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day and take care.